The Timberwolves picked up their 6th win in the last 7 games Sunday, winning in Denver 117-108. Anthony Edwards led the T-Wolves with 21 points, 6 dimes, his 15th consecutive road game with at least 20 points. The Timberwolves feel like a team we do not talk enough about, and they gave Denver all they could basically handle over the weekend. Wendy, did this game teach you more about Denver or more about Minnesota?
Yeah, it's really hard to evaluate Denver right now. They're just so banged up, and they lost another player in this game. Cam Johnson's been dealing with an ankle issue. He left the game early. They've just been a shell of themselves defensively since Aaron Gordon got hurt. I could keep going. Jokic has been off. I want to talk about the Wolves. The Wolves are a secretly scary team, and the reason is if you look at the teams in the West that are sort of in the middle of the pack, you know, right now, frankly, that's Denver, even though I sort of see them as a high ceiling team. That's Denver, that's the Lakers, that's Houston. Those teams all have flaws. The Rockets, shaky offense, the Lakers, shaky defense, Denver, shaky defense. Minnesota can play at both ends. And I'll sound like a broken record here on this one. When you try to evaluate a team that's going to make a run in the playoffs, you evaluate teams that can play at both ends. The Wolves can do it. For all of the flack that Rudy Gobert takes, and some of it is deserved, when he is on the court, they are a very good defensive team. He gets dunked on. He does stuff like commits flagrant fouls that gets him suspended. He says stuff that upsets guys. But when he's on the court, the data just shows they're a good defensive team. And they have Ant Edwards, who is a transformational offensive player who also himself plays at both ends of the court. I would not say I would choose them or pick them to beat Oklahoma City. I would not pick them to beat San Antonio, but boy, are they a dangerous team. And while these other teams have been struggling and falling back, Minnesota has risen. Minnesota 11-4 in their last 15, and they're going to keep rising because they play at both ends.
And they're fun to watch, too. Go ahead, Vince.
I think it's one of these undertold stories that we don't talk about as much. Anthony Edwards being one of the great player development stories in the NBA because he started off so high. Like, his game has improved year after year, and we don't give him the credit for recognizing what it takes to become a champion, being a better shooter, being a better ball handler, all those other things. But as far as a unit, I look at the Denver Nuggets, and I got this stat for you. Their top 5, their starting 5 of Gordon and Murray and Jokic and Cam Johnson and Christian Braun, they played 10 games together this year. Less than 150 minutes. We know they have championship DNA. We just haven't seen it. And they're sitting 4th, and Jokic, since coming back, has not looked like himself. I'm going to assume he's going to look like the best player in basketball. The final stat I want to give you, because this is so critical to me, this is a shooting league. This is a league where three-point shooting matters. It's the great equalizer of everything. The Nuggets have 7 rotation players shooting 40% or better. The only guy who doesn't is Christian Braun. Tim Hardaway Jr. comes off the bench and shoots 7 for 43% a night. If they can get healthy, if Aaron Gordon can get that hamstring right, if Peyton Watson can get right, this team is going to be more than dangerous. They're going to be in the Western Conference Finals, but they have to get healthy.
Yeah, they were 6 of 22 from 3 last night, so that was not good. Go ahead, Stephen A. What do you think about the Wolves?
They got to get healthy. The bottom line is this is a simple answer to this question. Denver, fully healthy, deserves the advantage over the Minnesota Timberwolves because if there is a kryptonite to Rudy Gobert's defensive prowess, it is when he goes up against Nikola Jokic, a healthy Nikola Jokic. When we've seen this man abused, usually it's against Jokic, all right? And we all know that. Jamal Murray, I mean, how many people do we have more faith in the clutch in terms of needing a bucket and relying on somebody other than Jokic to get you that bucket? It's Jamal Murray. And so Aaron Gordon, he comes back healthy. Watson comes back healthy. With what they have, you go with Denver. But that's the only time you go with Denver. If they have any debilitated element to them, Minnesota takes them. Because they got this dude, Ant-Man, who is a generational talent, my favorite player in the NBA. The brother is spectacular. And by the way, Julius Randle is no slouch. DiVincenzo is no slouch. Minnesota. And I'm not sure that I do. Minnesota looks different when they go up. This is the thing. If you wanted to give Denver an edge over Minnesota, and I'm not sure that I do. Minnesota looks different when they go up against OKC compared to Denver. It's a dogfight when Denver and OKC go up against one another. I mean, it's no holds barred. But you see something missing in Minnesota as a collective unit when they go up against OKC, at least dating back to last season. And I'm not convinced that they're equipped to overcome that this season. Shea's back. What about when Jalen Williams comes back? I mean, why should we believe in Minnesota against them? Because we saw them have a big game against OKC. I mean, they were up by 40 against OKC in the playoffs. Then OKC just came back the next game and beat them. Shea Butter walked off the court like, no problem. All right, y'all got us tonight. It's no big deal. You're going to lose. All right, we'll get you. And sure enough, he got him the next game, the very next game. This is who they are when they go up against Minnesota. Not so much against Denver, which is why I think a healthy Denver squad deserves a slight edge over Minnesota right now.
Wendy?
I do think we should point out that Minnesota has beaten Oklahoma City twice in the regular season. And I'm not going to freak out about regular season stuff, but, you know, whatever that's worth to you. And Denver
Nothing right now.
Minnesota 3 out of 4 in the regular season. Yeah, Denver beat Minnesota. Yesterday was the first time Minnesota's beaten them.
Yes.
I don't want to put too much focus on that, but I will say this. Ann Edwards, when you're in a 50-50 game, Ann Edwards can carry you home. We just saw it the other night in LA where he hits the shot to win the game, and then he chews out his head coach 5 seconds later. And the thing I love about this, by the way, is that both of them had a point, and both of them know that they can help each other and they move on from it. But we saw one of the wins over Oklahoma City was Ant hitting a ridiculous shot against good Oklahoma City defense. So basically is this. If you're Minnesota, what you want, get us into the last minute of 2 or 3 games against Oklahoma City or Denver, and we like our chances. There's going to be a lot that's going to have to happen to get to there, but if you get there, they got the guy who can finish it off.
The problem is Jokic in 4 games against the Timberwolves this season, averaging almost 36 points, 15 boards, 11 dimes. First player to average that much against a single opponent in one season
French
in
cuisine.
NBA history.
French
They got a
cuisine,
Jokic
booty.
issue. That's right. That's right. Coming up on First Take.